All right, Shalom. I just wanted to do a little live video here. As in, you can actually see me physically here talking. It's not just me hiding behind a icon, which, people seem to do nowadays, right? So one thing I want to open up the video with, making fun of is a couple days back I was trying to join this channel. I believe it's called the Stone or something, right? This channel. I recently found it because I was going on YouTube. I looked up, live stream or open panel. And, I asked them if I could join into the conversation, right? And add into what they were talking about. And we're like, well, we don't know if you're a real person. So I literally, I have my icon there, which is the same channel icon I have, right? So I go and get my hat so I can show the guy, hey, look, the guy on the picture, that's literally me, right? Hey, look, same hat, right? Same Red Bull hat. He's like, oh, that's still not enough, right? Still not enough. It's like, well, shit, what else you want me to give you, right? You're gonna be, asking for, home address and phone number like Samuel Owen, Concave Earth Christian, which only a dummy would, actually give that dude information like that, right? But that's what that guy Samuel Owen would do, right? Sam, he'll literally ask for your real name so he can look you up and see all information about you. So you don't want to give the guy your real name. But idiots on here, actually will. It's like people be like, well, I don't care, just putting my, information like that on the internet. It's like, well, shit, well, you must be like just playing games and shit, because, putting information like that on the internet can be a serious thing, man. Right? That can be a serious thing. Shit, you got some people like that don't really care. Like this dude, what's this guy, Mark Sargent? The guy was the author of a couple books, and he came up with the flat Earth clues. I believe it came out like 2014, 2015. Right, go check that out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, that guy literally at the end of his video, so put his home address there, his personal phone number, his full name, right, and his whole identification, and all that madness. It's like, damn, that's not a smart idea to go and do that. You know what I'm saying? But shit, there's people out there who are doing those things. But I was thinking to myself, with going back to Stoner's stream, right? I was thinking to myself, it's like, damn, you know, really, you guys want all this information to come on? It's like if you guys actually know how to use StreamYard, which apparently looks like you do because you're paying for the updated version, right? You're paying $20 a month to use all the features on the platform, right? So it seems like you know what you're doing. So I present to him, it's like, well, how about, since you're unclear if I'm real or not, why don't you let me on, but you put an overlay on the screen so nobody can see anything? So if people join and try to, do anything to get the channel taken down or video flagged, you won't have that problem because if you put up a layer on the screen, it will block everything from being seen, right? So it's like, oh, I can't do that. You seem like a troll to me. And, really at the end of the day, you just don't really bother with those people. Laughing to myself, it's like, damn, it's more strict to get onto this guy's StreamYard live stream than how strict airport security is, right? To get on Stoner's live stream, that it's more strict to go through that than it is to go through airport security. At least in my opinion, that's all I can say, from experience. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's like shit, it's like who are you again? You got like what, 100 subscribers, 20 people that watch the stream. It's like, really, what do you got to worry about exactly? It's like YouTube isn't shadow banning you like how they do to me and thousands of other people that are actually putting information out there. Not like just a stream like yours where they're just talking shit about things they don't know all day, right? I mean, come on. But I just had a good laugh with that. It just shows. A matter of fact, I even did like a 10-minute video talking about this. I was saying, it's amazing to me how paranoid people are today. No, it's really a strange thing. It's really a strange thing that people are like so paranoid nowadays, right? People are thinking, oh, well, everybody's out to get me, right? Everybody's out to get me. Everybody's out for my harm, which clearly just isn't true. Now, of course, there could be a couple people, going after some individuals, but it's nowhere near the extent that these people pretend that it is, right? Like, say, for instance, right? One thing I laugh at is, some of these truthers, they just go, way over their heads with all these conspiracies that they make up. Like this dude, RV Truth, which his YouTube channel is called They Live Truth, right? He used to have like 70,000 subscribers. Um, like back in 2016, 2017, his channel got flagged. So he started over as They Live Truth. Um, but this dummy was putting up a video the other day talking about this whole incident that happened over in Baltimore with the Key Bridge, right? The Key Bridge collapsed because a cargo ship crashed into it. And this guy was sitting there saying, "Oh, well, look at all these numbers. Look at all these numbers. Such and such um, equals 77 and 33." And literally, that was like his only evidence in the first video that this was like staged. Is he looked up like on the back of a boat in one of the pictures, you see like 33 or something like that. And then he did like some type of number crunching and came up somehow with the number 77. And really, that was his whole evidence to him that this was staged, that this was faked. I just sit there and laugh at people like that. It's amazing to me, how some people out here are just so gullible and dumbed down where they literally think that everything in the world that happens is fake and should be, doubted as actually happening. And again, I can talk about flat earth all day, right? I like a good conspiracy as much as the next person. But shit, even I as a flat earther acknowledge that some of these conspiracies are dog shit. Some of these conspiracies are pure bullshit. That's what some of these dumbass theories are. Shit, I could go on a whole rant about some of these nonsense theories people have, man. But may as well save myself some breath, you know what I'm saying? So I was just sitting there laughing. It's like, really? So you think that there's like some type of like big cover up going on, right? Some type of big cover up with this event. It's like, dude, it's literally, just an accident that happened. If you actually look at the story and look at all the information, I have no reason to believe otherwise. And there makes no logical sense to pretend anything other than that because there's not evidence to support anything other than that. Bear with me a second. So again, it's just again, the ignorance of some people is just astounding to me. Like, let me give you an example, right? I recently went on to a all black live stream, right? It was literally like a black community live stream, and I didn't know that until after I joined and we started having a conversation. Then I found out that that was a black community live stream, right? Everybody on there was black except for me who went on there. And that was an interesting conversation. Video coming up in like 2 weeks, I'll post it. But to recap from that conversation, I think his guy's YouTube channel is called Q Buther. If you want to look him up, Q Buther is the name of this guy's channel. And a recap from the conversation that just came to mind is, later on in the discussion, there was like a new dude that joined. You could tell this cat, I believe he called himself like the Wolverine or something like that. Which, I mean, you could tell that this simp, right, this numbskull was, basically sitting on his ass, smoking pot all day and, watching YouTube videos and playing games and shit. That's basically what this dumbass Wolverine, um, that's what he does with his time, right? So, anyway, this guy Wolverine calls in and we start doing a little back and forth, right? Because at the time, me and the other individuals were having a reasonable, actually, yeah, relatively reasonable conversation about, NASA and their fakery with, like the ISS footage and the, space photographs. And we talk about flat Earth and a couple of other topics in there as well. But then this guy came on to add into the conversation, and he was like, "Well, UTT, you sound pretty stupid to me." And then I was like, "Okay, well, like, do you know why you're saying that? Or are you just like, throwing quotes and putting names out there that you know nothing about?" Then I asked the dummy, it's like, it's like, okay, so why do you believe that you um, live on the ball? Like, why do you believe that the government put men on the moon back in the 60s? But yet they literally said a couple years back, we don't have the technology today to put people on the moon. Like, literally, the one guy that works for NASA, right, a scientist that was working there, he said in an interview, and you can find this on YouTube, he literally said, well, we had the technology, right? We destroyed that, and it's a difficult process to rebuild that once again. So again, they admit they can't put people there today if they tried. So how the hell did they do it from the 60s? A whole other thing. How the hell did the president of the United States call the astronauts when they were in orbit then? That doesn't line up. Shit, there's places even in the world today where you can't get service on your phone. Like if you go out to the middle of the ocean, it won't work there. If you go out to the desert or the thick forest, it won't work there. You got to be near like a city, right? You got to be near a town or city area where there's like power lines and all that, cell towers, set up in order for your service to work. It's like, well, shit. I thought the government said there's 50,000 satellites circling the world. That's not true. If there was, well, why the hell are there places on Earth where there's no service? There would be service everywhere on Earth if there were actually, as many satellites as they claim that are floating above our heads in outer space. But they're lying about that. Which satellites are real, but they're not how they're depicted in movies, right? Like if you go on a Google, you look up a picture of a satellite, like 99% of them on there are just artist illustrations of a satellite in space, right? The satellites are real. They're just hoisted into the high atmosphere on high altitude weather balloons. Matter of fact, one crash landed in Brazil like what 3, 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. You can find a video on YouTube, right? One crash landed in Brazil with the popped weather balloon attached to it, right? Like the string was still attached to it that was originally holding it up, in the atmosphere. So again, they're real. It's just there's in a few they're in a small number for a lack of better terms, right? They're in a small amount of them up there, and they're not just floating in outer space. They're actually attached to like how high altitude balloons that are specifically built to hold them up there, right? So anyway, going back to Wolverine, right? This was funny. This gets pretty funny. So Wolverine was like, "Hey, look, I believe that they went to the moon, and the evidence I have of that is because they said that they went there. Right? That's all the evidence that I need is they said that they went there, so that's why I believe they went there. Like literally, that's what this dumbass said. It's like, wow. So wait a second. So what if I told you that I went to Mars? Right, me, ETT, right, Nathan Roberts, that I actually went and I walked on Mars, and I came back now to tell the story. Would you believe that? Of course you wouldn't believe that. Only a dumbass would believe that. But yet this dumbass believes that men actually walked on the moon because the U.S. government tells him that. The dumbass is like, oh, well, I believe it because, well, all the evidence I need is because they tell me so. And then I ask him, well, do you agree the government lies about anything? Like anything at all? It doesn't have to deal with NASA. It could deal with, legality. It could deal with taxation. It could deal with any of that. It's like, do they lie about anything? He's like, oh, yeah, they lie all the time. So why the hell would you believe what they tell you about outer space? I mean, come on, it's like, it's such an inconsistency. It's amazing to me. But then this dumbass had the nerve to say, well, what you're demonstrating here is white ignorance, right? That's his word, is you are demonstrating white ignorance. And what was the ignorance part? What was he alluding to? The ignorance was me questioning, NASA and about them going to the moon and about, the photographs of the earth that they're giving us and pointing out that the government admits there, fraudulent things happening in this area, right? Of this, area of government, right? And corporations involved, right? He's saying it's way ignorance for me to sit there and make these claims. It's like, wait, what? Ignorance? What the hell? What the hell is this dummy saying? Shit, I think, and the audience can let me know, right? You can vote in the comment section. You can give your faults down there. But what's more ignorant, right? Well, what demonstrates more ignorance? Me sitting here questioning the government and their narrative when there's clear evidence that they're lying about something, or a dumbass like Wolverine who sits there and says, "Hey, look, I believe the official narrative because, well, I believe it because government is good, right? Government, they lie about a couple things, but well, it was on TV, right? It was on TV, so I believe it's true because that's the narrative, right? I believe they went there because they say they did. Like, literally, that's what this dummy literally told me. I'm not even making this up. The dude literally said, my evidence that they actually did go there is because they say they did. Seriously, I've been a flat earther now for 7 years, right? You could call me an OG, right? I've been in this I've had this idea back since it was, first on the internet back in like 2015, 2016, right? So I've been around it basically the whole time it's been on the internet, just about, right? So out of the years that I've been looking into this, I've never met somebody who was so ignorant, inside joke, right? I've never seen somebody who showed so much ignorance as this character. Literally, I've never saw somebody who believed the Earth was a globe who, when I asked them why do they believe that, or I asked them, well, why do you believe the moon landings were real, and then respond with, well, I know it was real because, well, it was on TV, right? Well, or will they say that they went there, right? That's the evidence I have that it actually happened, is because they say they did it. Wait, what? Again, I've never seen this before, other than this dummy, this complete baboon. Um, a Wolverine. And then it was funny because then the guy went on to talk about, well, we evolve, right? We evolve. So then I called him out and said, so wait a second, wait a second. So you're telling me that you believe in evolution, right? He's like, oh yeah, I believe in evolution. And then I made a joke a couple minutes after, and I said, look at this guy. He believes that they went to the moon because they say he did. It's like, shit, this is the same dummy that would tell you that we evolved from monkeys, right? Or that he came from a monkey. Obviously, in context, I'm talking about evolution, because that's literally what we were talking about. He said he evolved. So it's like, oh, okay, well, he believes in the theory of evolution, meaning what? That over the course of millions of years, um, monkeys, right, primates evolved into humans over millions of years. That's literally the entire doctrine of evolution, right? So then when I said that, everybody, pretended, right? Everybody pretended like that I made that into some type of like racist statement, right? That I was using some type of like racist statement, calling him a monkey or something like that. Even though if you literally listen to what I said this would be the same dummy who believes that he came from a monkey, obviously referring to the theory of evolution, which he said he believed in, right? But again, and that shows the ignorance of these guys. So they're sitting there saying I show the white ignorance, but are they showing the black ignorance then? I mean, again, I honestly don't get the pure stupidity and ignorance. I'm going to use that word a lot today, with the bullshit that these guys are on here saying, right? In this instance, the black community. Well, I can't speak about as a whole, but I'm talking about this live stream that went on with people from that community, right? Um, so again, it's just amazing to me. But here's the funny part, right? There's even a part in that where he used the N word. He called me, the N word. I was like, wait a second, what? And I don't really care if he uses it or not. I'm not concerned. But I simply am stating, like I wanted to point out to them, it's like, so he can call me that, and it's, you can laugh and just think that's funny. But yet, magically, if I do the same thing, if I call him the N word, you guys will kick me out of the room so quick, my internet would crash, right? But yeah, he's allowed to call me that, though, right? And you guys think you're running like some type of like fair, um, reasonable stream service or whatever, right? You have a freedom of speech, um, panel. Then I was joking with him. It's like, I said, it's like, well, shit, I didn't realize, the stream I called in was, located in, Nazi Germany. I didn't know that this live stream I called into was located over there. How's Germany, man? right? I didn't know this stream was ran by, um, by Nazis over there, just to mess around with them. But again, that just shows the complete ignorance of people out here. Is they think they're smart and intelligent because not that they've done research into what they're talking about, but because they believe and can repeat what they were indoctrinated from birth to believe. And these guys, especially Wolverine, he's a complete example of that bullshit. He believes they went to the moon, not that because he done any research into it, but because they told him that they went there. It's like, so what about they'll tell you that they got satellites in space, or probes sending out into deep space like a million miles from the Earth, and sending back like screenshots, right? Snapshots from different parts of the galaxy. Like, do you believe that too? Obviously, he has to because, well, they said it. They said it's out there, so that means it is. I mean, come on, this is amazing to me. How dumb people are out here, man. But then they'll be so quick to criticize actual people like myself who actually take time to look into these things that we claim. Um, but they just sit there and believe whatever that they were told, right? Like with this whole flat earth versus the globe earth debate that's been raging on for the past years and years, right? And again, it hasn't died out. There's still live streams happening on YouTube like every other day, of globe versus flat earth conversations, right? I remember watching them since I was 14 years old, right? And here we are, 7 years later, still going on every day. And it's not going to stop anytime soon because, people are starting to realize, at least some of the reasonable people are starting to realize, is that, the world that we were raised with, the ideas about the world that we were raised with from birth, that's not true, right? That's not true. Like I don't know about anybody else out there, but I can remember, back in the first grade, learning about the spinning, heliocentric model of the Earth, right? I remember the teacher turned the lights off, grabbed the globe, and used like a flashlight to represent the sun, right? So she turned the globe and showed the sun, the flashlight here, and shine it on the Earth. And for us, it's daytime, and then for the other side of the world, it's nighttime. Then the world will rotate, and then nighttime for us, and then light for them. I remember that to this very day. Because those, what is it? The flashlights were actually, one of the kids brought those in for Valentine's Day, because back in school, right? I'm talking like elementary school. Um, the kids would, and I'm sure everybody's done this, but they make like a little Valentine's bag, and then all the other students, bring in like little, cards or little candies, and give them around the class to everybody, right? You can put it in a little treat bag, right? So one kid brought flashlights, right? And that's basically how I remember the story, right? So again, me speaking for myself, I remember, I remember sitting there, in the classroom, learning about that. It gotta be like what, 14 years ago now, something like that, maybe 13 years ago. But anyway, the point that I'm making is a lot of people out here that claim to be knowledgeable about topics like this, they clearly show their ignorance and that they don't really know what the hell they're talking about. And again, that's a sad thing. You would imagine people, if they're going to sit there and, try to act like they're knowledgeable about what they're talking about, they would actually, have some evidence and information that provides evidence of what they're saying. Let me give you another example, right? Going back to Q Butter's stream, I was talking with another dude. I forget this guy's name. I think it was Defined something, right? Divined or something like that. And one of his arguments for the Earth being like a globe, and the universe to be what it actually is in the textbooks is because of math, right? But here's the problem though. It's like, wait a second. Well, first of all, how do you know that this math is true? It's like if they tell you that the math they use says that a star is like, what, 1 trillion miles from the Earth, right? 200 light years or whatever, just to give two random examples. Um, so why believe that just because they claim that the math actually, proves it? It's like, well, first of all, how the hell do you know the math proves that? Because nobody's ever been to these, you know, light years away stars to confirm the math to be true. Why the hell do you believe that the sun is 93 million miles away? Because all observation proves that it's close to the Earth. You can't just say, well, the math checks out. It's like, well, of course you're going to say that because you've been indoctrinated to believe that. But how can you, right, you as a person, how can you prove that the math checks out other than just repeating that because it's in your school textbook? Because once again, I issued a challenge. It's like, I need somebody to verify that to me. How can you prove that some of the stars you see in the night sky are light years away from the Earth? Right? Millions and billions of miles from the world. How can you prove that? And the answer is you can't prove it. You're just saying that because that's how you were raised. And again, if you question these people on it, they'll pretend like you're automatically in the wrong and they're in the right. Why? Well, because that's the doctrine, and that's what they were told. They were indoctrinated to believe this. But yet, the ironic twist, right? Ironic trick. And now I can't speak. The ironic twist in all of this is they're actually the ones who've been duped and indoctrinated. And we are the ones who've actually looked into the evidence and saw through the deception that was, put over our eyes from birth. Because I try to tell these guys, is like, hey, look, I once believed all the bullshit that you guys believe too, right? Because again, in case you didn't know, I obviously been through the school system and learned the exact same things that all you did about the earth and about the universe and about the earth's history, right? So I believed that at one point as well, without question. But then, at some point in time, you know, I started to look into it and saw that what the authority told me is wrong. And it's the same way for many topics, like 9/11, but that's all another topic. Or well, let's see, I got to watch the wording I use here because, certain topics you can't talk about. Or the thing that happened in 2020. You know what I'm talking about. The mainstream narrative, is not trustworthy. You can't trust everything they tell you. Now, sure, it doesn't mean that literally everything on the TV is a lie. Of course not. But you got to use your brain when they tell you these, nonsense that you can't prove for yourself, such as, the stars being, billions of light years away, or um, billions of miles, right? The sun being 93 miles. Again, whatever the official numbers are, um, the fact is nobody can demonstrate that to be true. You can do math on paper, but first of all, how the hell do you know the math is correct? Like, say, for instance, they'll tell you that a star is 2 billion miles away. Well, how do they know it's not 10 billion miles away? They'll tell you that the sun is 93 million miles away. Well, how do you know it's not 55 million miles away? That's a hypothetical question for these people who believe these things. Like, how do you know that the math you're starting with and trying to prove, how do you know it? That's the factual math to begin with. And the answer is, well, you can't know that. You can't know that math is, factual. So again, I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant, because people out there who, act intelligent and, think that they're like on a level with stuff like this, they can easily be refuted and disproven with just asking them, just a couple simple questions about, the world that they live in, right? And the simple beliefs that they have. You find out that a lot of these individuals out here, they, they'll fold like a damn folding table, right? They'll fold like a damn folding chair, once you start, applying a little bit of pressure to them, right? When you start questioning them about the facts, right? About the so-called facts of the world and they believe, right? They'll fold like a damn folding table, right? Completely in half, metaphorically speaking, right? Because they have no clue what it is they actually believe. They just repeat these things because this is the indoctrination that they went through from birth. So I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant. Let's see, if anybody made it to the end of the video, go ahead and put hashtag blue, since I have a blue shirt on. But I hope that video is edifying, and I'll say shalom.